getting energy doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your health. That's why when I need energy, I get Clean Calls, yerba mate. It's organic, healthy for you, jitter-free. Also, every can change a life because 50% of their net profits go to drug addiction recovery. So get you a Clean Cause for a drink that supports a good cause. Endorsed by Relentless Hope. Now I'm going to get all hopped up.
I'm with my lady and I'm feeling pretty good. Still pushing hope from the sea.
What's up, everybody? It's Relentless Hope. I'm Jahnna Cravens. Yes, I know my name. And I'm with my handsome, savage husband. What's your name?
David Cravens.
Jeffy. Why, Jeffy?
Listen about this. What's up, D-Money?
D-Money!
We got D-Money over here in the 239 Uncensored. We thought we'd switch it up and let Jahnna kick it off today. You know we're down here. We love this studio. We love Diana. We love Tim, even though Tim's out on tour.
Tim's in. Where's Tim?
He's on the road. Don't be telling me. Maybe Tim don't want everybody to know where he's
at. He's in an undisclosed location.
But what's up out there, everybody? You know, we got Bob back there rocking a pair of Neven Eyewear, the only sunglasses that Relentless Hope wears. 3 for $80. You break them, lose them. They're ready for land, air, sea. You better go check it out. Link below. Also, Clean Cause. You know why we love it. It's healthy, organic energy. Also, every can, 50% of the net profits go back for drug recovery, which I'm in drug recovery. But really, I like to say I'm just sober, clean, and living good, drinking Clean Cause. That's right. Also rocking these Flyfit 99-to-1 shirts, Relentless Hope. On there, if you want this, link below, merch, get it. When you buy our stuff, you're helping us. Obviously, you know, we've got affiliates and things, but
feeding all these kids.
Feeding a lot of kids. You're helping yourself look good. I'm just saying, I've seen a couple podcasts and then I've seen mine. And Jesus has been good. Nah, we love y'all. Thank everybody. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the button, share. Thank you guys for everybody who's been giving us love on new music. If you haven't heard it, Time Machine. Also, my beautiful Savage wife has a song coming out on her own. She's doing
with Caramel.
Yep. So it's going to be fire. I'm just kind of overseeing stuff, trying to get out of it because I can be bossy sometimes about stuff, and I want to let her do her own thing. So putting in input when asked, but other than that,
but you have the experience. I'm still a newbie at this.
Yeah, but she kills it. So be on the lookout. Check it out. Also, videos will be dropping. Time Machine video is going to be fire, man. You guys are going to love it.
Powerful.
It's song. Anybody out there dealing with something, trauma, childhood trauma, sexual trauma, whatever the case is, that's what it's all about. Because I know a little bit of something about that. So
that's right. You don't have to be a slave to it.
No, let it go. Don't wait till you're 45 like I did. You know what I mean? Get a hold of it now, and God, it's not your fault, and God can give you a time machine, and your life can start then and move on.
That's right.
Amen. So beautiful. How's things going? You look good in that shirt. You look swole over there.
No, I like this design.
Left in 99 just to come and get me. That's all you get. That's all you get. But new song coming out. Haven't reached out to Jericho about it yet, but I'm sure he will be on it.
He'll probably be.
Jericho, you're going to be on that song. I meant to tell you.
Know.
Sorry, I forgot to tell you. Boy, you will be on that song. I'll tell your mom. I'll tell Miss Sherry, and you'll be in trouble. No, but so what's new, baby? What's going on with you?
Nothing. Just I shouldn't say nothing, right?
No.
Just, work, kids,
same old
music.
stuff.
Yeah, you know how we do.
Just doing stuff.
Maybe a vacation.
Yeah. Sorry we didn't get to make it to Illinois. To all the people up there, we had to postpone it, but just wasn't the time. We tried, but God's plan, He'll make it happen when it does.
That's right.
It'll be awesome coming home. We got Bob in the background. We already talked about him. So we've been on this thing really because we've been doing the podcast and they've been fun. We have fun and we talk about this, and we've had guests, which we've got some really cool guests lined up too. It's getting it all together sometimes as getting people's schedules together,
schedules are
especially if they're bigger names. You know what I mean? Like people, well-known figures.
Everybody's got a busy.
It's hard to get them here, and it's got to be the right time. And so we've got a lot of nods to do it. Just we're getting it together. So be on the lookout because Relentless Hope Podcast ain't slowing down. We got the pedal to the metal.
Every time you say that, be on the lookout. The song pops in my head.
What song?
Be on the lookout because you know that we are coming.
I don't know
Just
this
the gang
song.
of Jesus freaks. Devil
Start running. But so we've been getting back to the root of really what we're all about, which is marriage. And we're more about the dysfunctional part of marriage, which every marriage has problems. I don't care what it is, but it's kind of a blended family, marriage after recovery, marriage after trauma, jumping into marriage without dealing with trauma and expecting things to work out, which didn't work for us at all.
Right.
So we kind of had to learn this trial and error, which everybody does. Our marriage isn't perfect, but we try hard, and our marriage takes first place. It's God, then our marriage, then our kids. You know, sometimes people get church and God confused. Like they think church is supposed to be first, when really God being first is your personal relationship with God.
Absolutely.
Church or ministry doesn't come over your wife or your family.
No, it's a relationship.
And I've grown up seeing that from a lot of people, like the ministry, the church, and then their wife is over here, and you're like, "Where's Sally Sue?" And they're like, "Oh, she's at home."
Or your husband's over here.
Yeah, you're not. You know, it's kind of backwards, I feel. But so don't get church and God confused. Don't get me wrong. You should be tied into a local church to be doing it, but your relationship with God is number one, then your wife, then your kids and family, then work, church, ministry, all that stuff starts going in. So we've been really diving into the Jimmy Evans, rereading a lot of stuff because listening to messages again. Not that we stopped, but you know, things get in the way, and we wasn't in reading. Marriage on the Rock, we both read, you know, a couple times, 2 or 3 times.
Well, and we got this new devotional.
Yeah,
right?
and we got the new I Will devotional came, and then we just went ahead and reordered everything again, like the 35th edition of Marriage on the Rock. Yeah, which I've got the one that went through 2 hurricanes, our marriage and the Hurricane Ian, which I can't wait to get signed when we get to go to the EXO headquarters. But we started on the 4 laws, right? And reading that book and doing that devotion. And you know, the first law is priority. Right?
Well, why do you think that's first?
Well, you have to because priority is first, right? You know, you got to prioritize stuff. What is it called? And God, and then your marriage God has to be, and then your marriage has to be first place after God in your human relationships. It has to be. And marriage work 100% of the time if you do it God's way. Have people still arguing with me to that right now? Like, oh man, but you know, marriage, I'll never have. That's not true, man. Now, it's not easy. It's work. I have to work at it all the time, and you have to work at it every day. It's an everyday thing. But priority is putting something above everything else. And it's not just saying it like, oh, baby, you're number one. It's the actions are doing it. Like, what will you give up for your spouse? You know, and Jimmy Evans always talks about golf. Now, there will be some footage and stuff coming to me and Eduardo golfing. Probably not going to be our priority. Okay. We're not the best golfers. All right. But
it's going to be fun.
But you will love it. But, you know, how he put that above his marriage. And, you know, we live in a time now is a lot of things that cause problems in marriage aren't necessarily bad things. They're what's the word? How do I say it?
Prioritized.
Yeah, there you go. Prioritized. I'm working on my vocabulary and trying to be better. And
you're doing great.
I'm a hillbilly and a ghetto hillbilly.
Just a country boy.
I just talk and say some nonsense. But, you know, it's like your phone's not a bad thing.
No.
Your kids aren't bad things. Kids are great.
Yeah.
But, you know, we were saying on one of them that we're at that age, or, you know, at that part, the kids in the house are middle school, high school. So money, it takes a lot of money.
2 high schools.
Yeah, 2 high schoolers and a middle schooler.
And then we got a bunch of older ones.
Yeah. And, but I mean, in the house, a bunch of older ones, of course. I'm proud of all of them. Ethan, Ashley, Brianna, Adriana, all of them. But the ones in the house are now at that age where, you know, Jackson wants to go hang out with his friends at the movies. Nene's going to work and then coming home and doing double school to try to get out early. Elijah's wanting to be in drama and take the later bus, but he didn't tell us. And you know, all these things are going on. And we're trying to do businesses and ministry and podcasts. And it's like, I believe if we wasn't together all the time the way we are, we would be missing each other just like a lot of marriages.
Oh, are you kidding me?
We would be just like walk in, hey, nice to see you. Roll to your side, I roll to my side.
Right.
Eat popcorn in the bed. You know what I mean? One stuck to your back and interweaved in my dreadlocks. And I'm just joking.
What?
My hairy back. You know how like nobody's ever ate popcorn in the bed and it falls in the bed.
That,
She shaved it. I remember one time Adriana goes, I just thought they grew like you meant to have it like that. Patches on your back. I'm like, no, your mom needs to shave it because this just grew here and this grew here. There was no planning, like I carved it out like the Mount Rushmore.
You carved the name in it.
But
oh my God.
So a lot of times marriage isn't priority, right? Your phone's priority.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And we started a thing because we're just as guilty as anybody because, you know, we run business, it's texting nonstop stuff. People, Jahnna talks to a lot of ladies. I talk to a lot of guys about life, you know, ministering. Yeah. Hey, how are you? Positive people, you know, pushing hope to us and vice versa. That we will go out to eat and we're just looking at each other. So we're like, we leave our phones in the car because we want to be priority when we're in there. Because back in the day,
you want to be fully present.
Back in the day, there was no phones like this. No. There was no, you know what I mean? All the stuff that could stop. You had to go
everything at a touch.
Spend human time with somebody, and that's how they were your priority.
How you built a relationship.
Well, when we first started dating and we first started talking, you were priority. Like I'd be like, hey, oh, man, I gotta be there because she's gonna be pulling around here in a little bit, and that's the highlight of my day, and I'd spend innocent time with you, innocent time, standing outside, kids riding go-karts, whatever it was. Yeah. But that was a priority.
Spending time.
Somebody would call, I'd be like, I can call them back. Yeah. I don't need to talk to them. I can call. Don't worry. That's not. No. You're only going to be here for a little bit. It's okay. And then once you get to the part you got the relationship, you got the love, the priority.
You think you got them on lock.
Yeah, it goes away. So the way to prioritize one of the main things in your marriage, you know, starting with the first law is time. You have to prioritize time. Your marriage has to, you got to put time into it.
Absolutely.
You know, hey, are you okay? Hey, what do we need to talk about? This is the pros and cons. That's bothering me. This didn't bother me. Yeah. You know, you can't be like, oh, well, it's okay. She knows that's how I am. Or, oh, that's what we do.
No, you got to communicate.
You got to put time in to say, hey, this is non-negotiable. We're spending this time together, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that.
Non-negotiable. Yeah. Big word in our relationship.
Big word, non-negotiable. That was what helped us also when we got, you know, sober, got clean. It was non-negotiable. Yeah. Anybody uses drugs, you leave. You take the kids and leave, you're gone. You take, I don't care how much I beg you, how slick I'm talking, leave. And when we held to that, we were like, hey, and obviously getting some touch with our feelings and getting help and giving it to Jesus. So you've got to have communication. You got to prioritize communication in your relationship so you can have a healthy marriage. Right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
facts.
If you don't,
well, where do they fall in line?
Where are you in line? You know, how do you feel if you're trying to tell me something or you need me to do something and don't give you the time?
Yeah, I kind of smack you upside the head and say, I'm talking to you.
Yeah. It's you got to do it.
Well, everybody needs to feel important.
Right.
You know what I mean? No matter how busy you are, it's like when Elijah walks in our room when he's supposed to knock, and here he comes anyway.
Oh, it drives me nuts.
And I get annoyed. I'm like, all right, obviously he needs something from me, right? He's bidding for attention. Yeah. So I need to put this down and give him my full attention. Right? Because it's important.
Yeah.
And just letting people know that, hey, you are my priority right now. Right? Because all this can wait. It can wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Right? And you're very good at that too, is, you know, giving the kids their time and letting them talk to you. And Nevaeh needs certain times to talk, or even on the phone, you're very good at that. You know, you really are. Okay. So now what about prioritizing, you know, phone time, actions, doing things? What's some other things? Relationships. You got to prioritize relationships too.
Absolutely. I think for me, a lot of times, you know, it's just finding time to check on people. I feel like, you know, that's what I'm supposed to do. So if somebody pops in my brain, immediately I'm like, all right, I'm supposed to check on this person, right? I'm supposed to let them know, hey, I'm thinking about you. Is there anything you need? Is there anything I could do? What's going on with you, right? Make them feel important, because people need that. And then that's a big thing for me. So it's no matter how busy I am.
But what about when that gets on my nerves sometimes? Like, I'm like, hey, what are you doing? You're like, oh, it's so-and-so. And I'm like, okay, but all right, whatever.
Then I stop.
Yeah. Or you do whatever, because I got to take priority at that time. And now I'm not saying there's, back in the day, it's okay to turn your phone off because if somebody needs to find you, they will find you. Used to, we didn't have phones and people found you when they needed to find you.
Time.
So it's like making the marriage number one, no matter what it comes to.
Right.
You gotta put that in there and say, hey, no matter what.
And sometimes you have to check yourself because it's just habit, right? I'll think it, and because my brain goes, and you're very much like this.
Yeah.
My brain's going so many different directions: kids, ministry, jobs. Oh, I forgot to put this person on the schedule. Oh, I need to check on this person. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like, okay, if I forget somebody, putting them on the schedule, I'll put them immediately and then put my phone down.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. And we're practicing that because we're no different than anybody else. Everything, like I said, a lot of times trouble in marriage is not bad things. It's just they're not in the right place. Even finances, even time, friends, kids.
Right.
Whatever the case is. So you got to prioritize communication and you got to prioritize time.
Yes.
So time being like this, hey, like the kids, I'm thankful for my house. Okay. We lost everything in the hurricane. But what I hate about my house is when you come right downstairs, our bedroom is right there, right? It's the first bedroom when you come down the stairs or when you walk in. And my wife might be a little menopausal.
A little.
And it gets hot. So I would be like, just keep the door shut. And when we're in here,
Okay, hold up. Pump the brakes. First of all, it's a known fact. If your doors are shut, then you're not getting circulation, right?
Right.
I'm a 50-year-old woman. I'm hot, son. So the door's staying open. Continue. Carry on.
So, yeah, right. This girl's crazy. But, the kids walk by, they stick their head in. Like sometimes I'm just like, it drives me nuts because I'm like, hey, we're just trying to watch a movie in here, or we're just trying to relax and talk. And you've got to respect that. Now, I will say they do know how serious it is, and they start to respect it. Some of them will.
Well, there's two that have boundaries.
Yeah, one of them, he just don't know, and he's just like,
he knows.
But, and he just shows up there, and I'm like, well, yeah, buddy, you might see some things you don't want. Keep coming in there without knocking, buddy, and that's going to be on you.
That's why you lock the door.
Well,
there's this little thing called a lock.
The lock busts open. But anyway, the dog will bust it open. But prioritizing time, and that be maybe, just getting away for a weekend, going to a cheap hotel, or just taking a ride somewhere together. And I'm very big about, if I ride to Walmart, I ask Jahnna to go with me. Like, I'm like, hey, you going to go with me? And then I'll get mad if she don't want to go. She's like, I don't feel like going. I'm like, well, I just guess I'll go by myself then. I don't even know what to buy. I'm going to buy too much. And then she's like, well, you're just going to yell at me that I bought too much when we get there. But prioritizing your time and your communication. Put the phone down and focus on what somebody's saying, right?
Yeah.
Focus on, hey, I know I want to go do this, but what do you want to do? What kind of movie do you want to watch, or what's important to you? Let me prioritize that, because a lot of times you'll be like, well, she was with me. Yeah, but you're doing everything that you want to do. Right?
Or that remote in your hand.
Yeah.
Can I hold it?
It fits my hand so good. Well, listen, because you'll take the remote and you'll be like, how'd I get onto this?
That's because I never have it, Jeffrey.
I'm prioritizing, trying to let her hold the remote.
So I just wait for him to go to sleep.
And then she, turns on whatever. But so prioritize what your mate wants to do, your spouse wants to do. If there's something they like, you go do it. Thankfully, we like a lot of the same stuff.
Yes.
So movies, we liked a lot of same movies. We don't like the same kind of stuff, like when it comes to movies or things to do. Or if I say, hey, let's go do this, she's like, let's roll. I've always wanted to do that. Yeah. So again, it's great to have, we want, a man's number one thing is respect, sex, and we want our wife to be our buddy.
Oh, did he say sex?
Yeah, I said it. Want to be our buddy.
Right. Not the wife, not their mother.
Not a mom. I want you to be my friend, even though
sometimes
when we're driving, sometimes I probably need to be mothered. Okay. But
it's good for you to admit that.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I got a lot going on and I'm, but it is what it is. I'm just trying to fit in with the drivers in Lehigh Acres.
I'm here to check you. Don't worry. I got you.
But you want your mate to be your homie, right? You want
your friend.
Yeah, your friend. Let's go do stuff. So I'm blessed in that area where we do a lot of stuff together. There's never really that I say, hey, let's go do this. And you're like, that's not really my thing.
Yeah.
Or if you said, hey, I always want to do that. I'm like, yeah, I'm down with that.
Well, your interests become my interests.
Yeah.
And my interests become your interests.
It's all becoming one, right? You think about it in the Bible, we were born naked, right? That's awesome, right? I mean, not awesome. You see me walking around naked. There's no shame.
No shame.
And after the Adam and Eve and the apple and the snake, blame shifting started immediately. Right?
Well,
he blamed her. She blamed the devil,
she
right?
blamed the snake.
Yeah. And then they went and did what? Put on fig leaves to cover themselves up, right? So a lot of times in our relationship, people go, well, how are you guys like that? Well, we each had fig leaves. Like, when things happen, right after a lot of things happen, we covered ourselves up. I mean, there was a time when you would turn away from me, like not even giving me, like, you're not going to look at me, or, like even naked, like, you know what I mean? And I was always like, that's so weird, but it's because you were hurt and you were like, you had fig leaves on because things I said and actions that had happened. And, we've worked hard to get those fig leaves off. I'm like, cut them suckers off, buddy. What are we doing here? Look at this.
Fig leaves?
This is all yours, baby.
I got to deal with.
But the thing is, it says in the Bible, we're to become one. I belong to you. You belong to me. And, sometimes it's to use, not abuse, though, right? So it's like, man, be like, hey, you going to have sex with me right now because you belong to me. And I'm like, okay, I belong to you. What do you need? You want it all right now? You want it right now? Half of it, a little bit, real quick, a little long? What do you want? I'm here for you. I'm here for you to use. Don't abuse. But
she's crazy. I know.
But in all reality, we're one.
Right.
And we started taking the fig leaves off. And sometimes we want to pick them back up and put it back on because maybe a hurt or an issue that came from, doing the song Time Machine. I had to really get in touch with some stuff that happened to me. And it took me a couple days. I was a little weird for a couple days.
But I understood it.
Because I was like, man, dude, wow, this did happen. And I've been covering this up and I don't want to talk about this. And secrets of a child, you don't ever let them show, you know what I mean? And
but for me, I knew that this was part of healing.
Yeah.
I knew that you were dealing with something.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, we go through all that because we become one and you can feel that. And then you go to the empathy thing and say, okay. Right now, I'm going to let her or his feelings be priority.
Right.
That's another thing. Sometimes I've got to let my feelings be the lower ones and you be priority. What do you need? And being together, for as long as we have it, as close as we are, you don't even have to say stuff. I can just tell by the way you sigh or look or not say nothing. Yeah. Like we've got our own language. And every marriage has their own language inside of marriage, right? Yeah. And that's why I know, you all right? What's going on? We've got a question. We go, what's wrong now? Right? Which is a kind of a thing like, well, or you could tell, and then we get to talk about it.
What's wrong?
Yeah, what's wrong now? But so the thing is prioritizing all that time, communication, feelings.
Right.
That's the only way.
Well, it all boils back down to the number one rule. You're my number one human priority.
Human priority. And we had to learn that being in a blended family. Because blended families are ones that, you have to let the other parent, when it comes to kids, have authority in that home. Oh, yeah. Now, you don't necessarily, when you first get together or things are going on, have to let them discipline them.
No.
Right?
Right. At first.
You know what I mean? I mean, besides the bat that we got for Elijah that says love.
But you do have to give the other parent
authority. And that was something
that we struggled.
That
you did too, and I
I did. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I didn't. I wasn't as. There was a part when it came down to it, then it would be this way, and this is how it was, and it's over. And it almost cost us 2 different times over it. I mean, there was a lot of other problems too, drug usage,
we had a lot
emotions, but a lot of it was, that's my kids still got to take priority because they've been hurt or they've been this or that, and or vice
versa. For me,
versa.
it was because I didn't prioritize my kids, right? And then here I got out of treatment and then did some schooling. So now I'm like, my kids have to be priority. Because why? Because I failed them, right? So it was so important to me, not realizing, because see, I hadn't grasp the whole
Right.
healthy relationship, or realizing that I had to.
Because you didn't ever work on
first.
that. You just work like, if you get Jesus and sober,
No.
you're okay. And Jesus can change your life and getting sober, but then that's when the work starts,
You gotta
and
put
you've
it
got to
in.
put in the work.
That's right. You got to put in the work.
You know, and right, exactly. So we had some problems with that, and then, you know, once we started putting our marriage first, then we started working on things and doing it. And now some people didn't like that. Some people did.
No, it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
At first.
Well,
you
still
know?
can be uncomfortable
because
sometimes.
and two kids are so good at manipulating. You know, they're good at manipulating the parent, and then they're good at pushing the other, you know, the other parent in different directions, making them.
Well, especially as they get older, kids can manipulate. And we wasn't perfect in no things, but but we did when it came back around, and we've said, hey, listen, our marriage comes one. We don't argue like that. We don't do this. Yeah, and this is how it is. And some people enthralled in it, and you know, there's nothing like when Ethan or Teresa, Ethan's better half. We love you, T.
Love you, T. Shout out to T.
Shout out to Turban T in New York City. But is when they say, hey, we love you guys so much and we're proud of you, and you know, we listen to it, and man, da 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 da. There's nothing like that for me.
Absolutely.
That feels that, you know, knowing they're like, oh man, you know, even the time when we were up in New York with them and we spent so much time in the car, God bless Ethan. He's a saint. That boy will drive, and he can drive now. Boy, you should have seen him on the go-kart with his little tie flying. He looked like the Mario guy, and he was killing me, and I was holding the button, and he smoked me on the go-karts. Good job, Ethan. But if you'd have seen this dude back up in New York, I'm like, there's no way we're getting this car in the middle of this space. He's like, hang on, Dill, I got you. Bang, he's there.
It, buddy.
And he just spends a lot of time. But we spent so much time driving when we were up there, when we got to visit him a year or two ago, and just talking. And just remember, T, you know, I love her so much. She's like, Dill, you should write a book. You know, and she's got this New York accent. I love her. She's like, you should write.
Hilarious.
But seeing that we changed and where we're at, and knowing where we were, that's why we do what we do. Because if you want to show your kids, and a lot of people say, oh, it's too late, or this is my third marriage, my fourth marriage, my second marriage, just let it be your last marriage and start right now. Start putting these laws into practice. Because one thing I did, you know, people say, how'd you do this? I go, I spent a lot of money on Amazon ordering books. I spent a lot of money on their website ordering books. Get on my YouTube feed and see who pops up. Jimmy Evans. You know what I'm saying? Watch the same message over and over. I mean, even Jackson will go, on today with Marriage with Jimmy and Karen. Like they know the thing because they hear it. Was prioritizing it, doing that kind of stuff. It's 2025 almost.
Come on.
You got all this stuff. You don't have to order it. You can get online and watch it for free. So if it's important to you, start right now. I don't care what the past was in your marriage. I don't care who did what, he did this. It can change and start, and we're living proof of it. Not perfect,
how bad do
but living
you want
proof.
it? How bad do you want it? There's no excuses, really.
So you can show your kids, old, young, your neighbors, the people that didn't believe in you, your haters, your congratulators, whoever it is, that my marriage is priority. And I take it very serious. I tell people, I've had to tell people, hey, man, listen, I don't do that and I don't play that. My marriage is my top priority, and respect for my wife. So, and most people go, oh, man, that's awesome. Mine too. Did you see that? I'm like, well, not really, but yeah, okay. So that's it. Check out the books, you know. Go on exomarriage.com and check out, you know, the 4 laws.
Some good ones.
Yeah, you know, Marriage on the Rock, I Will. I mean, there's so many on there. Blended Families. Just go on there and check them out because they truly have changed our life. So, with that being said, he left the 99 to get this one sheep. Why, Bob? Bye, Bob. But we're off here. Make your marriage your priority. You know what I mean? And get relentless with it.
Come on.
Who cares what they say? If people tell, you know how many people say you guys ain't gonna make it. You good man. We love you and Jahnna, but you're better apart. I heard that before too. Ooh. You guys are too strong.
But the people that I really cared about, in their opinion, that really mattered to me, like Gary Wayne, my dad, rest in peace,
R.I.P. Kansas City Chiefs.
But he always said,
I love him.
You guys are way better.
Way
and
better
my brother Mark. Shout out to Mark.
Yeah.
That you guys are way
my
better.
My sister too.
Yep. You guys are better together than apart.
Yep. Pastor Michelle. I remember Pastor Michelle, who will be our guest on here, and you get to see this Pastor Michelle and Gasper we talk about. They are real people, not AI. She was like, you guys can make it. And I go, I'll never talk to that blankety blank and blank. Okay, David. She said, you have the right to feel like that. I know what you're saying. but you can make this, and you're going to help other people. I'll never forget her saying that. I'll start crying. I'll never forget her saying that.
And who would have thought?
And she said, you guys' story. And I started laughing. I'm like, you're crazy. And look at us now, all these years later. So we love you guys. Make your marriage your priority and stay relentless with it. Like, subscribe, share, Flyfit, Clean Calls, Nautical Bowls, Neven Eyewear. You hear us say it. Get you some of this merch. 239 Uncensored, D Money. We're out. I love you, Jahnna.
Love you, David.
Peace.